Shamps and giggles. History, news, views, and reviews from a black perspective. Shamps and giggles back for 2024. Oh my lord.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for your listening ears. Shamps and Giggles, we do this each and every Friday. Bring news and views and history, news, views and reviews to you each and every Friday. So we had a great half earlier. We've got another debate which is not that nice, especially for nurses and the black culture, and even English for the nursing industry. This represents a disgraceful incident, which was to do with a famous nurse back in the Crimean War and helping injured. And her name, black nurse, her name was Mary Seacole. And everybody knows, most people know about her. And I'm sure you do, listeners and board members. The statue got vandalized recently, which now the Metropolitan Police are investigating. And it got defaced, which is totally out of order, and the statue stands prominently and proudly outside one of the famous central London hospitals. And someone threw audacity to throw paint over the statue. It took us years and years of hard work and dedication for that statue to be put there and to be erected there, and then to be opened. Had a ceremony opening when it was put up. Mary Seacole, she was a trailblazer in the 19th century and of Jamaican-born heritage. So for the audacity for someone to throw orange and red paint over the memorial, it's absolutely disgusting.
Bad mind again, isn't it? Bad mind.
Yeah. Bad mind people again. So and the letters in it was graffitied in white, and as dubbed across the plinth. So it's not that you just threw paint over it; they actually scrawled, so they had time to write what that nonsense they wanted to write. So you can see, and this hospital, and everybody knows this hospital, but if you don't, listeners, this is St. Thomas's Hospital in London. Lambeth area, stroke Westminster, just over the bridge.
It's over which bridge is it? Is it Westminster Bridge? Not Westminster Bridge.
It's just over, but it's within the Lambeth area, isn't it?
Yeah, it is Westminster Bridge.
Yeah, but you go over it, so you're over.
Over it, and the hospital's then.
So that becomes Lambeth area.
Yeah.
So it's a busy area. So I haven't heard of any arrests yet. Cassandra says it's still Westminster. Thank you very much for clarification. So it just shows you that I don't know. I am absolutely disgusted. I'm not sure the listeners, if you've got any views on this.
It's quite.
Go ahead, Joe.
It's quite interesting as well, because Mary Seacole from Jamaica, it's not that she was nursing black people. She went to the Crimean War. I think that's Ukraine again.
Yeah, Crimean War.
Nursing white people.
Yeah.
I mean, so all of them in cheat.
1 minute, Pinky.
Like that.
Yeah.
That just shows how dumbass. They know nothing. Yeah. Just bad mind, know nothing.
Yeah.
Because she's looking after them. Yeah. She's looking after them. Come on. It just makes no sense. Is that George's hand up?
Yeah, but Pinky first and then George.
Oh, Pinky then George, yeah.
Eshe, hold tight. Yes, go ahead, Pinky.
Yeah, to think that Mary Seacole helped in the Crimean War. Yeah. But it's not only that, it's the fact that, her nursing skills, she actually taught Florence Nightingale. So let's get it all right, because that's where it really, Florence Nightingale was the one who took really the main limelight. But it was both of these two women at that time going through and nursing, and her as a black nurse that nursed them, you know, through all of that war on that battlefield, because it wasn't, you know, it was a battlefield that she was on.
Yeah, right.
You know, and for me, it's just so disheartening. You know, even when they had the when they took down the slave, because we knew that they were going to dismantle other or disface other black. It wasn't even black people that took down that the slave man. We didn't, you know, when they, you know, they tipped him in the Thames. It wasn't us who tipped him in the Thames. We didn't deface anything, but yet still they're going to come and deface Mary Seacole, which I think.
Oh yeah, you're talking about the slave owner, isn't it?
Yeah,
in Bristol. They put
in Bristol.
yeah.
It wasn't black people that toppled him over into the thing. I mean, everybody was up in arms, and then what they did a couple of days, weeks after that, they went and, you know, defaced certain statues, black statues, up around certain places. Yeah, but I mean, luckily, I mean, it's just at the bottom, so it's not real. It's at the bottom of the statue.
Clean it off.
I don't think it went on her face. I don't think it. No, it didn't.
No, it didn't go on her face. They couldn't reach that high, innit?
Yeah, they couldn't reach that high. Served them right. But or something might have startled them. You don't know. But like you said, they had time to write whatever. But yeah, it's very ignorant, isn't it? It's the history that Britain don't teach, and that, you know, that's from school.
This is one of those things. Leisha, your hands up. Thank you.
Yeah, go ahead.
I thought George was going to go next, actually.
Oh, go ahead, George.
Oh yeah, he got his hand up.
I was just going to say something similar to Joseph. If people actually read the history, they would, you know, those people that did that, actually, it's probably their great grandparents that she looked after. You know, like, they just don't know the history. But, you know, Pinky's right. They're ignorant of the history because they're not taught it at school. You know, my daughter's 23. She'll tell you all the black history that she has learned would either be from TikTok, from YouTube, from her friends, from other places, not from school. She learned nothing at school. She'll tell you herself. No black history at all.
There you go.
Yeah.
I think that may be changed now because we had
you know.
Warner, and he said that his book is now being taught as a GCSE history in schools. So I think now, and I'll say in the last since lockdown, I think now that may have changed. I'd like to see it all the same, but I think that now that may
but then
have
I still think that depends. That still depends what school you're at, though.
Yeah,
you know.
True that.
Like if it's in a predominantly white conservative area, that probably ain't being taught as a GCSE because they're classed as an academy, so therefore they can choose their own curriculum.
And you know what is also interesting is that with this, they said that the impact it would have on the ethnic communities, but it's not just the impact on the ethnic community, it's the impact on all communities because of what Mary Seacole did. She didn't serve any community. She served people. She didn't serve race. She just served human beings, the human race. She went out of her way to look after people. So it just shows the ignorance of those fools.
Everybody.
Who would even think to do that? Just dumbass.
Yeah.
Leisha's hands up.
Leisha, go ahead, Leisha.
Yeah, I always believe that. I know we talk a lot about education back at school, but we constantly have to seek to educate ourselves. And I think those who don't want to educate themselves, they're very narrow-minded and they do things like this because they're educated by numbskulls who have no idea about culture, their own history, and then have these beliefs that are just nonsensical. But it'll be cleaned off. It can be easily cleaned off. So glad that it wasn't like damaged, like, you know, broken or anything like that. Mary Seacole, in a sense, she represents nursing. That's the one thing she represents, what nurses give to people. And like Joseph says, she served the people. And that's what nurses do and medical professionals do. They're supposed to just serve the people regardless of their race or gender, etc., etc. So, yeah, ridiculous people. Yeah. I don't even know what's it say on the floor. I don't know what it says. I don't think
we don't even want to read it, really, don't it? To be fair,
no, I'm not sure what it looks like.
They can't spell. Whoever it was, they can't spell.
Yes, anagram or something, but you can't spell.
Yeah, it doesn't.
It's nonsensical to us. So let it be the case. It's nonsensical. So, but I've just seen an article, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Voice newspaper. Is saying an update, which was of yesterday, because today, it says police not treating vandalized Mary Seacole statue as racially motivated. So police say no arrests have been made, and inquiries into the circumstances of the incident continues, but it's not treated as a racial.
Well, why isn't it treated as a racial thing?
Because
when it wasn't troubled before, since it's been up there.
No. Well,
and now since you've had all the nonsense, all of this has happened. So how is it not? How do they arrive at that conclusion?
Yeah. So that's what they've said.
Nonsense.
They're not. Yeah. So it's going to be an open case, and it will stay like that because But as you say, they will clean it off and they'll make good of it. And maybe this time, somewhere where cameras are on that road, and I know.
Are you telling me the camera's not watching that statue?
Well, and for them to be able to do that amount of damage and that writing, they had to be there for more than 2 minutes.
Enough time,
2 minutes. So and nothing's been, no arrests, nothing's been seen. They don't know. So listen, we'll keep an eye on it, and we pray that the next article that we see is that it's been cleared and restored back. Because I'd hate to see them put it in some sort of cage, because there'll be another undertone to it.
Well, true. You remember, what's that guy who does drawings on the roads? Very famous. I think it's an American guy. His pictures sell for wads of money. Van something? Because they damaged. They damaged one of his things.
Banksy. Oh, Banksy, yeah.
Yeah, they damaged one of his things.
Yeah.
And they did what you just said, Keith. They put up, they boarded it up and they put plastic screen or something.
Oh, so
it can't be vandalized again.
Yes.
When people are saying it's just not the same now.
Yeah, that's the problem.
It changes it. Yeah.
That is the exact problem that does happen, and people don't see they don't get the real connection anymore.
Right. Yeah, that's the word. They don't get the real connection.
Yeah.
But also with this Mary Seacole, is another interesting point though, if you want to look at it from the other side of the coin, in that as a result of this foolishness, it puts Mary into the public sphere for the good that she did.
Yes, true.
It puts her into and makes those fools look so stupid you can't even measure it. They look so stupid, but she looks absolutely amazing. And to know that she was serving humanity, whereas these fools, what they serve, they don't know what they serve. She was serving. So I think Mary Seacole, out of all this, is going to come out a winner.
Yeah, and I hope she does. I really hope she does. Mark, you got your hand up. Go ahead, my man.
I was just gonna say, and I was looking for it. Oh, your thing's on. Sorry. They're planning an exhibition. I think it's meant to be. I think it's Sadiq Khan, isn't it? Is putting together something, or he's putting some kind of proposal, which is a memorial, a site, and various artists have been touted to do various things. So they've all come with their different proposals, and it's just making me think about that. How is that going to go? If people are going to vandalize something like this, some of the ones that I've seen are really intricate. You know what I mean? In fact, one of them I remember, which I really liked, you'd go inside it and it's got various like things on the wall, and it's a whole kind of interactive monument. You know what I mean? But it's there to recognize slavery, if that's even the right word. Yeah. So it would be very disappointing. How are they gonna similarly? How would they protect a thing like that if people are going to come and vandalize it? It's out in the open. You know what I mean? So as a thought.
Yep, very true.
Cameras, put a camera on it.
Yeah, it is. It's terrible. So I just thought we'll just keep an eye on that, because I think it's going to run for a little while. But I pray, as you all said, that they'll get it back to as the original state. Miss Leisha, go ahead. Last word.
Yeah, back cameras. I'm sure that if somebody was to drive down that road, probably 23 miles an hour, they'd probably get a ticket very easily. They'll be
right.
Yes.
But they can't find somebody who did it. It's baffling.
Yeah, it is. It's ridiculous. So yes, thank you very much, Miss Leisha, on that. Seriously. And yeah, thank you for the comments from everybody, because it is. We just pray that it gets better, and we're looking out for it. But listen, one of the things for this evening, ladies and gentlemen, radio listeners, don't forget, check us out. We're on the radio. We're on our YouTube channels, Instagram, WhatsApp. We're on our. You can catch us on www.shampsandgiggles.co.uk. You can email us, as you have been doing with your scenarios, and we've been talking to things about it. shampsandgiggles@gmail.com. Instagram, YouTube, Facebook page, the various radio stations. We're here on a Friday, so I know that you definitely can't get enough of us, because we're on so many radio stations going throughout the UK and abroad. So listen, thank you for your listening ears, and we're there to talk the things from a Black perspective. And the other one, as a Black perspective, we thought that we would talk about is the lunchbox. And ladies and gentlemen, the younger listeners that we have plenty of, lunchbox to you is not what you put your little sandwich in. Originally, the lunchbox was to do with a prominent Great Britain's 100 meters gold medalist from West London, aka Shepherd's Bush area, and no other than Linford Christie. And when you mention that word, Linford Christie, you know what I'm talking about. You know who he is. There's a stadium in Scrubs, Wormwood Scrubs, named after him when he won the 100 meters gold for Great Britain in the Olympics. They named it after him. 1993. I'm talking. And I know, ladies and gentlemen, some of you weren't even born yet. But listen, go and check out Linford Christie. His documentary's out. Check him out on the various media. But this documentary, it was a bittersweet. It was hard to swallow. The problems that he had and what he went through after winning gold for Great Britain, and what they done to him, and how they stripped him in a way of his limelight and his pinnacle. I'm not sure. I'm going to ask our panel and our members, did anyone see the documentary and how they felt, how the British media dumped on him? And I'm saying dumped as a kind word, on Linford Christie. Anyone? Go ahead.
I felt 30 years on,
Yeah.
more than 30 years,
1993.
Right, so it's 31 years. Yeah, so 30 years on, and now they're having him give his version of events. I mean, come on now. What's the point? Why didn't they do it sooner? Because he was, he was clearly attacked for multiple. It wasn't just that. Remember when he wrapped the flag around him?
Yeah.
They were just on his case.
Yeah.
They were on his case. And look, here, look. As you see here, he should know his place. He did know his place. He was a sprinter.
Yeah.
He ran for the country and did very well for them.
That's correct. I'm going to play a little video, ladies and gentlemen. It was on the BBC News on the sports side, Linford Christie. You can type it in, it'll come up, and there's a little clip that I'm going to play for our members. But do go and check it out.
Later on in
hopefully my career, they will see that soon. But
training, it's a game. It's a game, and Linford, I don't think, knew all the rules to that game with the press.
One thing Linford never did was play the game. And he had, I think, probably a clear distrust of the media. He was strong, he was independent, he wasn't afraid to stick two fingers up and just be his own man. And I have a great deal of respect for that. I mean, often, I'm quite sort of nicey nice, middle-class white boy, and I was probably better playing the game. In, just being open and seeing the media more as a friend, maybe, rather than a foe. But then I wasn't given, I guess, reason to think of them as a foe. They never sort of came after me.
With Linford, he wasn't going to let all of that pain and all of that hurt be the end of him. He channels everything negative until it becomes something positive. That, I think, is what propels him.
There's only so much negativity you can have in your life until you decide that enough is enough. You got to survive. You know, what don't kill you make you stronger.
But really and truly, they really stuffed him. They really did, and I think that they purposely did what they did to Linford. It's really sad. It really is sad.
And of course, racism was involved.
Yeah, it was. And the other thing that was involved is that they're saying that they believed that they made a huge mistake, but they didn't want to own up about it, the mistake they did, to say that he had drugs in his system. But as you say, it's taken all these years for him to be able to tell his side of the story.
Right. Isn't it that it's like they've left him to suffer all this time?
Yeah.
And then now, all of a sudden, okay, we'll listen to you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Now, I mean, how much does it really count now? Because basically, he's carried all that misery throughout his life. And that's what he says in the documentary. He's carried that throughout his life. So now, he's old man now.
Yeah, correct.
So,
that's correct.
Haunted he was. Haunted.
It is. Joe, can you just, if anyone hands goes up, can you just take it for me?
Sure.
2 seconds. If anyone else got any comments about Linford, please put your hand up and talk. Continue.
Okay. So, because Linford he's a good, all-round good guy. Lisha, your hands up.
Yeah, I believe that the Sun tabloid newspaper started it off with the lunchbox, and as you know, the sports sprinters. He wore leggings, like tight shorts, and top, and obviously this is so he can run faster. It's less wind, holding him back if he's wearing shorts, whatever you. And obviously this is quite close to his body, quite skin tight. But they focused on his nether regions, his genitalia, and ran with it. And every single article was about this particular lunchbox that he had. And it just got to the point where, I was young then, I didn't really understand it. I think that now sometimes we look back in hindsight and go, gosh, was it really that bad? And it's only when somebody goes, yeah, it was really that bad. It really affected me. And it affected him.
Yeah, now what we wouldn't think of, because some people think, oh, look, but what the thing about it was, I just posted it in the chat there, he would be getting groped.
Yeah.
you know, because of that story, women thought it was okay to grab that area. I mean, it's just not right, is it? You can't just grab a man's things like that. And he was getting groped like that. And, you know, so he had to carry that for a good while. Imagine, he's a family man. So he's out with the missus, and then some fools, oh, can I have your autograph? And they're going to try and grab his things then.
Yeah.
Come on now. Could you imagine living like, you can't live like that.
Yeah. Very true.
Do you know, they also did what, even if you look back on some of his photographs, they specifically made him pose with or pose in particular ways where it will make him be more exposed.
Well, yeah, but that's where they focus.
Yeah, so I sent Keeper an image of him. Do you remember he was doing the ski what's it called? The ski challenge thing with the rest of the celebrities, and he was skiing. Did this appearance on, it's called The Jump. And if you look at the article, it's from the Mirror newspaper. I sent it to Keith, so hopefully you can share it.
I'm going to share that.
But it's the way how they start off, and it starts off with, so what is Linford Christie hiding behind his massive ski?
I know, yeah. So it's all about trying to sexualize Linford Christie. Yeah.
Yeah, the former champion sprinter used to be known as Lunchbox Linford for the effect his skin-tight running outfit had on his body parts while he was filmed running.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that sad that you've actually broken records as an athlete? You spent a lot of your life, you know, running for the country, winning medals and what have you, and they want to focus, that's the picture of him, want to focus on his genitalia.
Yeah. That's the Sun newspaper. Oh, sorry, look, the Daily Star. It would be the Daily Star or the Sun newspaper, wouldn't it?
And the Mirror as well, the Mirror newspaper as well.
The Mirror shortly behind. There you go.
Yeah.
You know. And the Sun newspaper, is it, I don't know if the Stars are, they no longer can they don't have page 3 and all that anymore, do they?
No, they're not allowed to.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's the mindset of that news, of those types of newspapers. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. And of course, if you look at athletes as a whole, he's not the only one with a lunchbox.
No.
They're all wearing tight clothes because you have to compete.
Yeah.
No, but they chose to target him, and that's what he says. He was definitely targeted.
Yeah.
You know, made his life a misery. Then how are you going to perform? Make your life a misery. How are you going to perform?
Yeah.
You know. So yeah, they damaged his career.
They did. They damaged it, and they knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. They sorry, I was just trying to. Yeah, they knew what they were doing, and they haven't exonerated him at all. Go ahead, Mark. Sorry, Mark. I jumped in before you. Go ahead, Mark.
No, it's all good. You know what? As you're talking there, it made me think about Hottentot Venus. Sandra Bartman, Sarah Bartman. That whole objectification, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
Sarah
Barton. Yeah. The black woman that they made put on from way back in slavery. Well,
way back. So if you draw up any of the artwork, there's a famous one. I say it's a famous one. It's one that kind of I remember where the guy is looking at her bottom with a telescope. It's a drawing.
Yeah, I'm going to try and find it.
Yeah. But the point is about how we are objectified in that way. And it's historic.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Whether it's well-intentioned or, you see, that's one, you just caught one there.
Oh, yeah, I just caught it, didn't I? Yeah. 1 minute.
Yeah.
This one.
Yeah. There's a few different ones. Yeah, there's a few different ones.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a tragic story, but it's just so reminiscent. It's not obvious because we're talking about a male versus Sarah Bartman's a female, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think that what is the undertones of it is just very similar to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just to throw that in.
Definitely.
I
And
have
of
to
course.
say, I don't know. I mean, definitely, there's definitely a lot of truth in that. But the other side of that coin, I do remember. I don't know if it's just the sick thing, you know, within that section. Because I do remember being a kid, and there was well, not that much of a kid, but his name was Williams. Can you remember him? It was an advert that used to come on the TV, and it used to say, "As you walk through the door, your pounds are worth more at Williams. Where else?" I don't know if anyone remembers that.
No.
Well, Williams, it was, if you could get it up, it was the same thing, and he was actually white. So I mean, he was an Olympic champion. For me, I mean, I remember the day, you know, when Linford won his race. You know, it was a day when it just rained. It was hot wherever they were, or it rained, I think, on that day, when he was actually running that race. And I don't know, the black community, we were over the moon that he won. I don't think most people paid very much, except for one, you know, one section of people just went on. I mean, the Sun newspaper, we know what they were, what, you know, that was all that, what they were about, the Sun newspaper, because, you know, there's been so much different scandals with the Sun newspaper and
News of the world.
Sex, yeah, with all their sex, explicit. So I just think that, you know, I have to say it, the Sun, I don't know, I have to say the Sun, the BBC, all of them, it's kind of the same substance. They're all of the same, yeah.
Yeah, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
No.
Well, yeah, they're all of the same substance. And I just remember around those times there, and, you know, as I said, if you look up that advert, Williams, when when they were first advertising, I can't even remember what he was advertising, but all you know, it was, I don't even know if it was washing up liquid or what the advertisement was, but that was just so blatant again, you know, having a man's private parts on TV bouncing around. I just don't understand why they did that, even for him as a man. But he wasn't, you know. And then how many years later they did it again with Linford.
Yeah.
You know, actually naming it as, you know, the other man was named, you know, as you walk, as I said, as it was called, as you walk through the door, your pounds are worth more. And Linford's one now they came up with, you know, calling it a lunchbox. You know, even just naming it something like that. It was just, yeah.
1992.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna try and share one more part, but I'm not sure how good it's going to be. But we'll see, listeners. It's all about Linford Christie and what he's been through. And if you can imagine that he won 100 meters gold. Back in them days,
Yeah.
we had runners like Carl Lewis running against
That's right.
like that.
Yeah.
And then he retired because of what happened in 1997.
Yeah.
But you see,
93. 1 minute. He wins in 93. Career finishes, not as career finishes, the wrong word. The problems that he had, and he retired in 1997.
Yeah.
4 years. Can you believe that? 4 years.
Yeah.
He had.
yeah, but they never thought Linford was going to win no gold. That was the
but
thing.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, but he did.
But he did.
And he did. You
Yeah,
understand? But they didn't think at that stage there when he won that 100 meters. They never had that in that Linford was going to win that.
Yeah, I understand that. But him winning the gold, it still didn't stop him having to retire 4 years down the line. Normally, what would happen? You win that gold medal, you're going on for another 4 years because the Olympics every 4 years.
Right.
You know, and some of the runners have been doing it for another 2 on top. Some of them get 8 years in. You know?
Yeah.
But
it depends on when you get how old you are when you enter, really.
Yeah,
but are you playing this?
Oh. I was going to try, but I'm not sure if it will. Hopefully, it will come out. It's still sharing, isn't it? So let's see, ladies and gentlemen.
Sometimes I think that maybe there's an untold story. It gives me a chance to put my story across.
In first place, the only runner in history to hold at the same time Commonwealth, European, Olympic and world titles, and now adds the BBC Sports Personality of the Year trophy to his glittering list of achievements. Ladies and gentlemen, Linford Christie.
Linford Christie!
Linford Christie.
Very well,
Hi there, you're watching Linford's Record Breakers.
Who else has won all 4 titles and held them at the same time in a sprint event, in a men's 100 blue ribbon event? My days.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're reading.
I remember after the race, they gave me a test where I did the test and everything else, and then we just went home.
I got a phone call to say, Linford, and he's tested positive for nandrolone. You need to let him know.
We got a phone call from Sue. What's going on? And she goes, oh yeah, you failed the test. I said, shut up. And I think I even put the phone down because I thought, you're talking rubbish. I said, no, she goes, no, I'm serious. I said, stop playing April Fools. She goes, no, it's serious. I said, no, I couldn't have. I didn't even know what nandrolone was.
Nandrolone is a substance that induces muscle growth.
The sports world in shock as Linford Christie fails a drugs test.
He's a national hero. Running tracks are named after him, an inspiration to thousands of youngsters who want to follow in his footsteps. Linford Christie will now appear before a disciplinary panel, where he'll be given the opportunity to explain how a banned substance came to be in his system.
When people take drugs, they're trying to achieve something. What did I need to achieve? Yeah. I had won everything there was to win in that sport. And it wasn't that I was going to win it again. Right. I had retired. I just wanted my reputation, and that's all I wanted.
If you're a cheat, there should be no place in sport. And I'm one of the old school who believes that somebody who cheats should be kicked out of sport and should stay out of sport. This folder is the evidence that was presented at the disciplinary hearing. The onus was on UK Athletics to prove guilt beyond reasonable doubt. And when you have an athlete's reputation at stake, the testing has to be perfect.
After you then do your samples, they're supposed to send it straight to the lab. And the guy who did it, who took the sample, didn't send it to the lab. He kept it and he put it in the boot of his car. He said he put it on his windowsill. He put it in his fridge. There is just something that's not right with this process.
So we see here a number of issues relating to the procedures. I don't believe this material affects the outcome, but it does raise some concerns.
Oh,
it meant everything to him to clear his name. He was so desperate. He was so desperate to find an answer and for someone to say, this is what went wrong.
If you inject nandrolone, you get very, very high concentrations in the circulation. It'll stay quite high for a number of months afterwards. When Linford failed his test, he was called for another test.
And there was nothing in my system. My test was negative.
He hadn't injected nandrolone. An injection was shown to be the most effective way of taking the steroid. But it doesn't exclude the possibility he could have taken some nandrolone orally.
Yeah, they put doubt into me.
Yeah.
The former Olympic champion Linford Christie has been cleared of taking banned drugs by the governing body of British athletics.
Christie was cleared when the governing body said they couldn't be sure the traces came from a banned substance.
I was happy that they believed that I said I didn't do it. But now you've got to go and explain yourself all over again.
Christie's case is being examined by the sports world governing body.
The International Amateur Athletic Federation could still overrule the decision.
I was liaising with the IAAF people through my lawyers. I didn't want to, and then they said to me, I need to come to Monte Carlo to explain myself. Off. I'm not doing that. I was not going.
Why?
Why? Why am I? Why?
Why
the thing is,
should he?
I didn't do it. And the problem is, UK Athletics, I've already been through all that with UK Athletics. And they found me, innocent, exonerating me. Double jeopardy, isn't it?
One of Britain's most famous sportsmen, Linford Christie, has been banned from athletics for failing drugs tests. The International Amateur Athletics Federation upheld its decision to suspend Christie for 2 years.
They say the onus is on the athlete to prove he could not have taken the drug, not on the sport to prove he had.
When they decided that they were going to reverse UK Athletics' decision, I think by that time I was emotionless.
So Linford comes across as being of quite a hard exterior, and he might conduct himself in a way that just says, I really don't care, I don't know them, I don't care. He absolutely does.
It's terrible.
Yeah. But that's what they do to tarnish, because as he said, he had nothing to gain.
Yeah.
Nothing to gain whatsoever. But they just wanted to tarnish his achievements. And rather than leaving the sport on a high, maintaining that, look, they just destroyed his life, innit?
Correct. And that's the upset. And you can see the emotions that still deep.
The stress that you're put under,
depression,
you're playing yourself over and over and again.
Yeah.
And I've got nothing to prove. Why am I doing this?
Yeah.
I've got nothing to prove. I've had it all already.
Yeah.
I'm not competing anymore. I've retired.
Yeah.
Who needs it? Come on then.
It's just really, really sad. And I know, ladies and gentlemen, you've probably seen the documentary, but if you haven't, please take time and have a listen to the documentary. This has still got near enough 6 minutes to go on this bit, but so I just thought that with Linford Christie, they did one for a better word, shaft him in a way.
Yeah, of course they shaft. And now so from 1997 retired, 2 years later, all of this is gone. So it's around about the year 2000. So 25 years later.
Yeah.
Now they're letting him speak out.
Yeah, and this is it. And Eshe, no, I don't think. I think it's still open-ended. He didn't get an apology from them at all. And the worst thing that I knew, I think it was either 2012 when there was a runner. I can't remember his name now. Not Cyril Regis. Can't remember the runner. Colin Jackson's era, but there was another
Morris Green.
What's his name?
Morris Green?
It could be Morris Green. Another 100-meter runner or 200-meter runner that Linford Christie was training those people. And they blatantly said to Christie just before the Olympic
I think it was
started,
Dwight.
Dwight, that's his. Yes, I think you're right.
Yeah, because like you said,
Chambers.
Linford.
Yes.
I'll let you finish off, but Linford does, when you're saying about training, because he trained up a couple of the British athletes.
That's right.
And I know, because I know, when my kids were younger, my girls, he does
Dwayne Chambers, well done, Mark.
Dwayne, that's it. I knew it. Yeah, Dwayne. I said Dwight, right? Sorry, Dwayne Chambers, because they do. And I met all Dwayne and everybody. They were all over Battersea Park, because they do every year. It's called Linford does. It's called Do It on the Street. Do It on the Street. It's a race. They do street racing, and that's where they take you through to championships or different championships. But you start off with that, and they run it in Battersea Park. I'm sure it's called Do It on the Streets or something like that. Yeah.
Oh,
Linford,
wow. Dwayne Chambers tested positive as well.
Hold on 1 minute. I'm just going to double check if that is. I'm sure it was Dwayne. There was one that. 1 minute.
2003. He
trained
tested positive for
with
THC
Dwayne.
and performance-enhancing substances.
Let me see his face. 1 minute, because
banned for life. Dwayne Chambers.
No, it wasn't Dwayne Chambers. It wasn't. No, it wasn't. It was another one that Linford trained. And what happened is that I'm going to say the story, and then maybe someone might find it on.
Go on.
While I'm talking. What it was is that he was training them, and then just before the Olympics, just before the Olympics, they banned Linford from training them. He was the coach for the sprinters, and including the women, a woman sprinter. They were very happy that he was training them. The performance they got out of Linford and what knowledge he knew, they were very content. Then they banned Linford from walking out
with
them. So he had to be in the crowd. So he stood in the crowd by the fence. And in the finals, this sprinter, he actually won the race. And what did he do? When he won the race celebrating, he ran around the pitch looking for where Linford Christie was standing, and he hugged Linford and he pointed to him, say, "You made me win this. It was you." And he put the media to shame. So even when he won it and they were asking, "How do you feel?" he said, "Without Linford Christie, I would not be here. I would never have won this race."
I know you.
Also, a white lady was also running in another one, and she said also, "Without Linford's training, I would not be here." And it's a pity that I can't think. And that person was in the documentary, and he's the one that said it. And it just shows you Darren Campbell. Who typed that? Yeah, I think you're right, Mark.
Yeah, I just caught it. I think it's him, Darren Campbell. Yeah.
Yes, I think you're right, Mark.
It is Darren Campbell.
Darren Campbell. So
that's it.
Yeah. So with that, yeah, and it was so heartfelt what he said about Linford. You really know that there's no way on earth Linford would have done that and had drugs in his system. He was a pure athlete, and I think he got stitched up. Seriously got stitched up.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah,
but you could just tell because they did all the research, and
Yeah.
the drug was not in his system, means that it wasn't in his system because it stays in the system for months.
Catherine Murray. Well done.
They just thought they was getting another Carl. Was it Carl Lewis that got discredited in America?
Ben Johnson from Canada.
Was it? No. There was one in America.
Carl Lewis as well.
Yeah, and it was around more or less the same time. So Britain thought they could hold Linford, but they couldn't hold Linford. But what they did in the process,
Okay, thank you for that, Miss Lee. Yeah.
dirty his name, because even though that they exonerated him, it still stuck.
Yeah. And the thing is,
because if you listen to the way the news even reported it, and all the children and this, that, and the other, they really did him bad.
Yeah, but
before they had the full evidence.
Right, and Pinky, when you think about it, as soon as that you're accused of taking drugs, any sponsorships that you have, which is money, is stripped.
That's right.
You lose the sponsorship immediately.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
There's now loss of earnings.
Yeah, you're right.
And he would have been making money for time to come after all of that. when you win gold, that's automatic rights to sponsorship. So winning gold, you're going to make money.
Yep, absolutely true. Yep.
So when they come with that, he's been robbed.
Yeah.
No apology, nothing. And now they give him a documentary. He's been robbed.
Yeah, absolutely true. Yeah. Discredited. Yeah, discredited. Yeah, absolutely right.
Robbed.
Yeah. And ladies and gentlemen, listeners, I have to get Linford Christie's title in order. He's Linford Christie OBE. So I just want to put it out there that he's an OBE. So yeah. But yeah, it's sabotage, and as you guys said, even in the previous our discussion previous, bad mind. Yeah. And how they can't take into account that the testers, you're not supposed to have it running around in your car, rolling around the place. You're not supposed to have it no windowsill. Not supposed to have
and in the fridge.
And yet still they didn't take that into account. It's nothing to do with it. Who's to say that he didn't put anything inside of it?
Correct. Got a backhand to do it. I mean,
Yeah.
And of course, the other thing about that, which would just be so obvious, given the high-profile nature of the case, it shouldn't be left with any one person for such a period of time.
That's correct.
Because they could tamper with it.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's so much in there to say that, hang on a minute, there's something dodgy. I mean, let's just be clear. But the point of the matter is, we're talking about it now only because Linford got the documentary and he's been able to put every story now. But he's had to live with it for 25, 30 years and the loss of income over all that time.
Yeah.
You might all see now that he might be given some advert, some sponsorship now because it's sort of come out. But I mean, all that time, what was he doing when he come out? Because he didn't get, like the others, get a seat on the BBC or ITV when sporting events and being a commentator.
Right.
That's a job he would have, like
and
John McEnroe.
He should have been
John
given that.
McEnroe's the commentator at Wimbledon every year. He's getting paid bucks for the 2 weeks he's there, couple $100,000.
Yeah.
Far better than Johnson.
Every year.
Yeah.
So Linford didn't get none of that.
No.
You know what I mean? He's been robbed.
That's why he said he suffered. He suffered a breakdown.
Well, of course. He got bills. Everybody got bills.
Yeah. I mean, that's going to feed the kids, the family, mortgage. You've got commitments.
Yeah. And that's why he wants to exonerate his name, because he knows.
Yeah.
Hey, my money's tied up in this. You can't. I can't afford to do it. He can't afford to do them kind of 8 children. Lord have mercy. He can't afford to do them food. He only got kids to feed.
No.
I mean, so they robbed him. And why would they do that? That's the bigger question.
Yeah, they certainly did rob him. And
well, I think that has a lot to do with racism, doesn't it, really? I mean, when you think about it, and I mean, the main paper out in the front of that was the Sun.
Right.
Not papers that, I would ever buy. I mean, Paul Boateng really, educated me enough to say never spend your money on the Sun newspaper.
Yeah.
Prefer you go for the Guardian.
Media in general, Pinky, really. But that in them days, media in general in them days that never liked him.
Well, yeah, I mean
and it just shows you even in the documentary, it shows you the level of contempt they had for him.
Yeah,
they just didn't like him.
No, they didn't. They really didn't.
And he had no time for them as well.
You think to yourself, could you men? And it is, and because I've read into that, because you do have men that have, penis jealousy. Yeah, there is that. So I believe that those little ones that started it, you can imagine, they must be,
they got little fingers,
little pinky. Yeah, and we always say, it's not. It's not the size of the tools, but it's what you do with it. But this is just ridiculous that they could have got so. I mean, and focused on that. People, they thought it was.
Got to say, and then I'll read out Eshe, and then we'll move on. Miss Leisha.
Yeah, I just think it's clear that not all women, felt like that. We were more interested at the time, and I know for even me, You know, back then I was young. I was in my 30s, just coming. So like, you know, and look, I've got him here. Who was it? It is. I'll tell you who it was. I've got him. I've got his picture right here. I've been trying to look through the Facebook because, and it was Malcolm. Malcolm. That's him here. Look, Great Britain. See him here.
I can see you. The camera's not
Sorry.
on.
Oh right. All right.
Yeah, can't see, yeah.
That was the other guy's name. I had to go and find him. Yeah.
Malcolm, Great Britain.
Yeah.
And what happened to him?
No, this was the other one at Linford, because this is us here. Let me show you. This is us here in Battersea Park. That's him there again. And this was with Linford the day. We were all over here with them because he does his little thing. Do it on the streets. That's what it's called. Do it on the streets.
All right. All right.
Are you that Pinky down with Linford?
Yeah,
Are you
of course. Of course. So look, I'll tell you who it was for. It was for little Theo. Look at little Theo.
Oh, no.
Theo ran the race and he won, and Linford was saying, yeah, I got to keep my eye on him.
Oh, lovely.
Big up, Theo. Big up.
Yeah, that's what he does, because he's done a lot of he does more.
Right.
See all the cameras?
Oh yeah, ladies and gentlemen, you can't see what's being shown, but Pinky's just showing us some pictures of back in the day with her in the run-ins. So well done on that, Joe. But yeah, congratulations. And Eshe says with that, she says he should get compensation for damage to
I
his
agree.
career.
And here's Linford. Sorry, there's Linford. There's Linford.
Like how, 1 minute, like how innocent people are exonerated years later. So it's very true. Years later down the line, when they find people exonerated or innocent, they pay them compensation, and for his career loss and also his well-being.
Yeah.
Yep.
I can't see that ever happening.
Well, maybe it will now because of the documentary. Same with the post office. It wasn't until the documentary came out that those post office workers, I don't know if they've got the compensation, but they got recognized for being robbed. And that's gone through the courts now. I think they're fast tracking, giving them back their money and their dignity and withdrawing the criminal records.
Yeah.
So now that the documentary's come out about Linford and everybody can see the levels of foolishness that they put him through.
Yeah,
it could well be like, hang on a minute, yeah, he was robbed, and they reverse it. But Eshe's absolute, definite compensation for Linford.
Oh, go ahead, Eshe. Welcome.
It's before you come.
Oh, Eshe, you're on mute. Unmute yourself.
Oh, okay. I thought I touched it. Yeah, I didn't touch it hard enough. Yeah.
Go on.
Yeah. In America, they just seem to be far more pushy about these things than we are in Britain, where there's too much of this laid back, mindset in a way. And whoever was representing him should have been really pushing for his case. I mean, if you even look at Stephen Lawrence's parents and how despite the dynamics that were happening in the family, with the father and mother and all of that, they hung in there till they got some result. And, I don't know how much sort of professional support Linford was getting during this time, but even for his own well-being, because that must be so stressful and
absolutely,
he broke down.
Yeah, exactly, to get a result, just to set the record straight for even his grandchildren to see and in his own lifetime now, because he's not an old man.
No, true.
Yeah, he's old enough past the heyday, but I mean, compensation is definitely due. But is it a case? Well, they'll have to reopen the case and the investigation. But it's all there, isn't it? So, Keith, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, you're right. And Mark, we're coming straight back to you. But listen, ladies and gentlemen of the radio listeners, it's come to that time, and that's why Shams and Giggles, you have to be here each and every week, because when we talk the things, we have so many comments, so many different angles to it, and we like talking the things, especially when it comes to of color. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much again for your listening ears. It's Shamps and Giggles. We're out. Good night. God bless. And we check you again next week. Lovely.
History, news, views, and reviews from a black perspective.
Yes, brother, man. As he said. So take care.
Peace.
Now.
You don't stop that button.